Are you an indie podcast or content creator looking to reach a wider audience? Look no further. Introducing Podcastic, the ultimate podcast network designed exclusively for indie creators like you. At Podcastic, we believe in the power of unique voices and fresh perspectives. We're here to amplify your passion and creativity, connecting you with the growing community of engaged listeners who crave original content. Podcastic is more than just a platform. It's a support system built for indie podcasters, offering a range of resources to help you succeed. From tailored promotional campaigns to professional production assistance, we're here to help you shine. Our intuitive platform makes it easy for you to be seen and heard. We do all the heavy lifting for you. You just show up and create. Plus, with our advanced analytics, you'll gain valuable insights into your audience's preferences, allowing you to refine your content and grow your fan base. Ignite your passion, expand your reach, and thrive with podcasting. Visit our website at www.podcasticlife.com to get started. Podcasting, the home for indie podcasts and content creators.
That's my favorite DJ.com. Welcome to the home of my favorite DJ, DJ Jules, baby. If you're looking for a DJ for any type of event, call us now, 313-595-8845. Once again, that's 313-595-8845. www.that'smyfavoritedj.com. The perfect DJ for any of your events. Sweet 16, 21, 30, 50, you turn to 75 years of age, DJ Jules, baby, is the perfect DJ for you. Weddings, corporate events, call 313-595-8845. That's my favorite DJ.com.
Combined power of a group when working together is greater than the total power achieved when working alone.
That's synergy.
Synergy works. Synergy, from the Greek word synergos, equals working together. Synergy works. Synergy is different people working out together advantageously for one final outcome, one goal, rewarding results. Synergy works. Don't train by yourself. Train with synergy. Why? Because synergy works. Contact us today to set up your fitness assessment. Synergy works.
TNT Cakes, Creations, and More, what we specialize in: red velvet and strawberry cheesecake, chocolate-covered strawberries, custom baby boxes, custom signs, custom tees and sweatshirts, custom sports balls, graduation accessories, custom glasses and tumblers, custom license plates, heat transfers, custom office signs. TNT Cakes, Creations, and More. Give us a call.
The content you're about to hear is a part of a paid programming segment. The views, opinions, and statements expressed belong solely to the sponsor and do not reflect those of Podcastic or its host. This segment is for informational and promotional purposes only and should not be considered as advice or endorsement. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah. Big flex on the set, you know we gotta rep. Heavy talk on that mic, all we do is press. John Q, that's coach, got him upset. Gym Animal, Muscle Gang, we up next. Big Flex Podcast live on Monday night with John Q, Latoya, Deshaun, and Don Snipes. You can catch Snipes on the pod or the big screen or get tea time with Toya if you want the tea. Talk about the strong end on your weekday. Tap in with Muscle Gang, you never have a weekday. Big Flex Podcast, 9 p.m. Monday. Pull us up on YouTube if you want that replay. Big Flex Podcast, 9 p.m. Monday. Pull us up on YouTube if you want that replay. It's the Big Flex Podcast, Mondays, 9 at night. It's the Big Flex Podcast. Come on.
What up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome back to the GAMG, the Big Flex Strong Cast for episode 109. I am your host, John Q.
And it's
Yeah, I'm back, motherfuckers. You know, it's been about a week or so, you know what I mean? Had to go get a nice little tan for your monkey asses, you know what I'm saying? See, a little... There you go, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I ain't so goddamn, ass shit around this motherfucking no more. But yeah, welcome back, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I am your host once again, John Q. And of course, the best hosts with the mostest down here. We have sis down here, Latoya Deshawn in the building, y'all. What up, though, sis?
What's up? Welcome back, bro.
All right, thank you. Hey, look, thanks for having me back. You know what I'm saying? Y'all held it down and shit. You know what I'm saying? That was a hell of an episode last week, man. Hey, I'm proud of y'all, man. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And of course, we got my brother right here. Don Snipes in the building, y'all. What's up, though, brother?
Hungry.
You say hungry. This motherfucker always hungry. Hey, look, you would swear that he ain't. Hey, look, like he don't never eat, but this motherfucker always eating though.
All the time.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But what's up, y'all? You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what time it is. This is where Gym Conversation meets podcasting. So y'all know what y'all do when y'all come to the GAMG gym. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button, hit that share button, and subscribe if you haven't to on YouTube. And of course, hey, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You know what I mean? That's where we get down at, y'all. So run them numbers up, man. Stop bullshitting. You know what I'm saying? Been stuck and shit for a minute. You know what I'm saying? On these little low numbers and shit. And everybody be watching this shit, like ghost watching this shit. We be having all kinds of damn numbers and shit. You know what I'm saying? Then next thing, one share and shit. I'm like, man, share this shit out. Stop bullshitting. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
So how was y'all strong ends, man? You know what I'm saying? Since I've been gone, man. You know what I'm saying? What y'all been up to?
Oh, you know what? We didn't even talk about our strong ends
Last week?
last week.
No.
I think that the week we didn't touch on it, I traveled that weekend. This past strong end, it was too damn hot to do anything.
Absolutely.
It was too hot. I went out.
Absolutely. It's hot as hell right now.
And I was like, and I just went back in. I stayed in.
Yeah.
I was not feeling that heat.
Yeah. Hey, look, I second that and shit. Hey, I got my ass up shit early as hell yesterday about 8 o'clock in the morning to cut my grass, and I still was sweating like a motherfucker.
Wow.
Like a pig, man. Yeah.
It's been hot all night and all day. We had no break.
AC been on bang.
Yep.
Yeah.
Electric bill's about to be high AF.
I was helping take an old AC out to put a new one in at like 11:30 last night.
You ain't talking about no window unit. You talking about one outside in the backyard? One of the big units?
No. I'm talking about a window unit that had the old Sears and Roebuck name on it. But we had to remove that motherfucker from the window. Yeah.
That motherfucker's heavy as shit.
Bro, it was almost midnight. We outside. I'm in the bushes trying to.
Oh hell!
No, just helping a friend. But okay. I had a good strong and shout out to my godson Harper. He had some photos at an art exhibit.
Okay. Shout out Harper. Harper be getting it in, man. You know what I'm saying?
Harper be doing his big one for sure.
Hey, y'all little young kids out there, step y'all game up, cause Harper be killing it. You know what I'm saying?
And again, it was a good time. I had a good time. I chilled out. It's been so hot, but I'm glad that pollen didn't stop though.
Man, hey, cool. Listen, man, that shit been looking like straight up just cotton balls. Like, man, that shit is wild as hell, man. This have to be like the worst year for that shit or something. I've never seen it this bad.
This is like for real. This year has just been a rough year all around. Like we skipped spring, we went straight from winter to hell.
Yeah.
Big ass pollen, bad air quality.
Yeah, this shit crazy.
It's just been a crazy year.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Mark in the building. You know what I'm saying? He said, "What up, though, fam?" All right.
What up, though, Mark? What up?
Yeah. All right. So, I'm gonna tell you, because our main topic is kind of loosely of what one of my strong ends since while I was gone is going to be loosely talked about. But until then, so we have a little tea time, right?
Well, we didn't, but we can have some tea time.
What you got? It's always good to hear what you got to say, sis.
So I just want to share something kind of just like situational awareness, right? About all of the things that's going on in the world, like, please understand that the government shows us the things that they want us to see to push their agenda. So I'm seeing a lot of people talking about this base called Al Udeid in Qatar that was, they're saying, oh, that Iran bombed this base, right? Like trying to push the agenda of we need to be at war. Now, I was previously married to a military man, lived that life with him for 17 years. Both of my kids are in the military. So I kind of have a different view of when these things start to happen.
Yeah.
And just be careful, like, what you're sharing on the internet. Like, this hits home for people. People have spouses in the military, parents in the military, kids that are in the military. This is not something that we take lightly. Like, when we're talking about we're going to war, that's a sensitive topic. So just be, like, mindful of what we're saying about these things online and the things that we're sharing. The reality of it is that we don't know it, but that base gets martyred all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. It's a regular occasion. We just don't know it.
Okay.
There's no need for us to know it. But now they're sharing it because it pushes the agenda of we need to be in this book of business. We need to be at war, that type of thing. Yeah.
Well, like I was telling y'all before we got started live, is I did see where the Orange Man himself or whatever put out on his what is it, Truth Social network or whatever it is, that pretty much that Iran and Israel have come to an agreement of a ceasefire. So it's pretty much trying to say that the 12-day war is over with, and hopefully, that the ceasefire start taking place like soon. So however, I did see something else that actually came out too about some kind of rare mineral that was found that in Iran, ironically or whatever, right? That actually will probably put them over the top far as technology wise. So to me, it's kind of like maybe this is what this shit was all really about in the first damn place. You know what I mean? But like you said, they only want you to know certain things. You know what I mean? And believe it or not, the game is propaganda. You know what I mean? To try to get people to think one way or feel one way, or, you know what I mean, and justify whatever means that it is to whatever end that they choose. So, but like you said, be careful though about what you putting out there though. You know what I mean? Me, I just look at it as like this. I believe in God, so there's nothing to fear but fear itself, right? So I'm not getting all into this whole, World War III, the world about to end, this, that, and other, because ultimately, God is the best planner and the greatest planner of all time. So you might have some plans, but when God steps in and shit, He has the final say so. So this is the time, if you don't have faith in God, you know what I mean, you definitely want to go ahead and solidify your relationship with Him. Him, her, whatever you believe in. But
haven't we always though, like? Yeah. You always hear that there's been some type of conflict with Iran. Like, come on, man. To me, this shit ain't new. And I think, and I think that all throughout the years,
since we've been around,
they've pretty much always been like, Iran. If you with it, we with the shits too. Yeah. Like, what we talking about? And I think that, again, this is a real interesting time. Just to be alive here in America. I mean, we have so much going on. How about there's a guy, he's either 22 or 25 years old. Last name, I think his name is Thomas Fugate or whatever. But he was appointed by the Trump administration to his department is connected to some anti-terrorism group. When he was appointed, all of a sudden his LinkedIn profile disappeared. All right, but when you look this guy up, they saying that he helped with Trump's campaign, but he actually used to be a ex grocery store clerk. Now this blows my. Hear me out when I say this, and this guy is extremely young. No type of political experience, no nothing. Like I said, all of a sudden, you know, it's
So
hard
like
to
an
find.
AOC then.
It's hard to find information on this dude. Well, here's the deal. You know, when we start talking about certain types of government, obviously, you know, you might have some people that kind of get it out the mud, have a grassroots kind of following, and people that support them. But that's one type, you know what I'm saying? It's different when you running for maybe some district stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe a house seat here and there. But we talking about, you know, when we start talking about international issues, what's your qualifications for this? Do you have any military service? Do you have any type of background in international studies in school? Anything, you know what I'm saying? Something that's going to support you being appointed to this position, and you can't find anything on this guy. It's kind of, I think his name is Thomas Fugate, if I'm not mistaken.
But you know what? Let me say this though. If you notice though, it's like it's always say, you know, if you believe into say the, you know, this foreign say government, right, that we are currently occupied under, right? It's like you have predominantly say foreigners, or you know, their lineage for sure is tied to say Europe or Russia or Germany and stuff like that, and you know their grandparents is from there and they live here, you know, like their kids and stuff like that, like people like Trump and stuff like that. And it's like it's always the conflict over there, right? Like far as Iran, Iraq, Russia, China, that's all East shit. Right? And it's like, it just amazes me that the same people that's from those areas that have set up a foreign government over here always still have issues with people over there. It's like, why the fuck y'all over here then? Just go back home then and just have at it. Like, goddamn, like, you know what I mean? It just amazes me, like, you know, you done left that area for a reason, or your grandparents did, this, that, and other. Why are you still, you know, attaching yourself to those old fights and shit like that or whatever? You know, if you talking about you came over here for a new start, for peace and stuff like that. But then you'll go tell another country like, say, Iran or North Korea or anybody else, oh, you can't have a nuclear weapon, but you got them. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's some bullshit. Shouldn't nobody have any of this shit. And all these people, to be honest with you, they fucking pussies and cowards. Just let's be real. And I'm about to tell you why I say that. It's because those same people will sit up there and have these issues, these old bastards, you know what I'm saying? 70, 80 years old, still got this old mindset. If you got a problem with a country or the leader of that country, get your ass in the ring and fight that shit out. How about that? Stop sending other like people, kids and shit to these wars and all this kind of stuff, because y'all have a fucking old ass gripe and shit, you know what I'm saying, with other groups of people. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, what we got? Mark says Trump gave the majority of the people in his cabinet their positions because they donated a lot of money in this campaign. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Even Elon Musk. Elon Musk, was forever a Democrat, and he was constantly giving out money to the Democrats, and then he chose it. This shit is all a fucking game, man, in theater, to be honest with you. You know what I mean?
The gentleman I was referring to was appointed head of Department of Homeland Security. And again, like I said, 20-something years old, Thomas Fugate, and it blows my mind. Yeah, it's But I will say this. I'm a firm believer that no matter what game is being played, you know, it's still our responsibility to make sure that we have full awareness of what the fuck is going on.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like don't fear, but don't be stupid either. You know what I mean?
And I think that this goes into, you know, a conversation that needs to be had when it comes to people sharing the history of things and people actually researching the history of things, because sometimes, you know, the way technology, AI, and all this shit is set up nowadays, clickbait. Yeah, a lot of young folk are being misled.
Propaganda.
They're easier to persuade to one side or the other simply because they don't know shit.
Yeah. Right.
and they half-ass reading shit. You know, I was looking recently at the BET Awards, and you had a lot of young people talking about the one guy Kai, and he's a huge influencer and this and that. But
who the fuck are
some of the people didn't? Man, some of the people didn't.
Who the fuck are you influencing? Like,
well, again, right? I don't want to get into this commentary to that, but I will, because I feel like, you know, as things advance, you're going to see new things kind of, you know, appear. That's just life. That's just a natural evolution of things. Yeah. But you have some people that had an issue with the fact that, you know, it kind of appeared that he showed lack of respect for some of the, you know, the older people that was in the game, or, you know, some of the people that had been in the game before him. And it was just like, oh, you who? You're one of those kind of things. And I saw that, and then there's another guy, I Show Speed. And I Show Speed was racing the dude, and I mean, after it was over, he turned around and he said, "You fucking fraud, you punk ass motherfucker." Now this is how he was talking to the guy. Wow. So I called one of my young boys, and he said, hey, he was actually taking it light on him. He was like, that's part of his image. It's part of his persona. And in my mind, I said, so man, we living in an era where part of the persona, you know, of you being on internet is one thing to say, hey, I beat you, good race, good sportsmanship, but we disrespecting. It's like, fuck you, you punk ass fraud, fake ass motherfucking nigga. Like, whoa, wait a minute. To me, that was taking a little too far. I had to do my homework on old boy. I Show Speed, and that's just how he talks.
Especially coming from this generation and shit where they don't know nothing about throwing hands. All they know is about throwing bullets. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like real shit. Like, it's like,
let's get to this topic though. Let's get to this.
You know, we ain't gonna even touch on the other shit, but we gonna get right into it, y'all. Like, I want to hear, you know, some people call us on this one. You know what I'm saying? I put it out here yesterday. It's part 2 of vulnerability. All right. And the simple question is this: when is the last time you cried, right? Like, name the last time, you know, you cried for a celebration or a hard time. We'll start off with that one first. I got a couple of other questions behind this topic, though. So when was the last time you cried?
For a celebration or a hard time?
Yeah, celebration or hard time. Because I want to ask y'all about how did y'all feel, you know, what was it and stuff like that. I mean, I'll start off. Because I got to get this shit off me, you know what I'm saying, real quick. So, you know, I was out of town, went out of town last week, and
with the wifey,
yeah,
birthday celebration,
birthday celebration, and I've been dealing with, say, for the last past about 6 weeks, man. My dog son, man, my dog, you know what I'm saying, Rad, been kind of sick, you know what I'm saying, and needless to say, I done watched him, you know what I'm saying, like dwindle right before my eyes again, just like my other dog Rip, you know, from cancer, prostate cancer, right? And prior to us getting on the plane, we get this call from our vet, like, yeah, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So that's how our vacation really started. You know what I'm saying? So he passed. You know, and so we I mean, we kind of knew it was coming, but, you know, yeah, it was tough, man, to be honest with you. So we in the airport, you know, my wife, she's talking to him, and I could just see her start crying. And I already knew what the fuck it was, you know what I'm saying? And it was just one of those moments where we out in public. I wasn't even thinking about us being out in public. I'm like, damn. Like, you know what I'm saying? My dog, I didn't have my dog around for like the last past 10 years. He didn't like been there through a lot of things as far as, you know, he was around with my father. Like, we got him back in 2015 in February. The day that we brought him home was very special to me because something that happened to me some years ago on that same day. Then some months later, my father passed, right? So he was around for that. So it was almost like he was there for like a lot of comforting, you know what I'm saying, that I needed, you know, and my wife needed. He was there as far as, you know what I'm saying, when I graduated right before the pandemic. Then the pandemic happened. Then throughout the whole time, my wife and stuff, she's going through her doctorate program. And, you know, as far as us being at home and all this kind of stuff, he's there, like in the videos and stuff like that. While I'm trying to help her do some stuff to turn. He's been there for a lot. You know what I mean? My grandparents passing and just everything. You know, when our uncles passed, you know, just to kind of like see him still fight. You know, because when we first got him, like he had a thyroid issue, and I didn't want to, because we adopted him. I didn't want to get like a sick dog, and I told him that when we adopted him, and just sure enough, that's why I said God has his own plans. So when we got him, we didn't know that he was going to be a sick dog, and I didn't want to get a sick dog because just like say 8 months prior, we just had to put down my other dog, Rip, you know what I'm saying, for lung cancer. So I didn't want to have to go through all that shit again to that degree. Needless to say, for 10 years, he was on medication. You know what I'm saying? But hey,
that's a long time though.
On thyroid medication, stuff like that. So it was just like, you know, like to know that his whole life, he had the strength to keep on going every damn day. You know what I'm saying? And you know how Riot was.
I couldn't tell that motherfucker was on no medication. Goddamn,
there you go. You know what I'm saying? But he'd come around, he'd sniff you around. You know what I'm saying? And as long as he think you cool, he'll lay right by you and shit and go right to sleep. You know what I'm saying? But he was very, you know, protective. You know what I mean? So, you know, like I said, the last time I cried, man, I was crying like I ain't do the waterworks totally. But yeah, I felt like, hey, like I cried like a bitch about my dog. You know what I'm saying? You goddamn right. You know what I'm saying? And I'm
gonna correct you and say you cried like a man about your dog.
Yeah, there we go. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Thank you, Austin. Correct. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know,
we gotta stress that.
Yeah, no. So that's another thing, because one of the other questions is it still a stigma? You know what I'm saying, for men to cry. You know what I mean? To see a man
right
cry.
It is.
You know what I mean? So
let's not even play them games.
Yeah.
It's a big ass stigma for men. Actually, on the way here, I just so happened to be closing some apps on my phone. And why was it a woman on a podcast? She's been interviewed, and she was like, "Oh yeah, like the worst thing a man could do is cry in front of me, because after that I just lose all respect for him." And I'm thinking to myself, like, you dusty bitch.
Pretty much.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's a dusty motherfucker.
And here's the deal.
That's crazy.
I just want to say this. Well, first of all, the last couple years,
it's been trying, man. Goddamn.
Has been challenging.
Yeah.
The last time that I just had a real full on out cry, Richard called me in the morning about Missy.
Yeah.
And I got the news. He called me at like 4:00 in the morning for Melissa Talbot. And here's the interesting thing, right? Melissa was a friend of mine. We worked together, all kind of shit. And I had a lot of shit going on. You don't really know how something is going to affect you until it kind of hits you.
Yeah.
So I heard the news that morning. Richard called me. Then a few other people called me, and I get the news early. Boom! I go about my day. I pull up in the driveway. I sat in the motherfucking driveway, bro, for about 2 hours, crying. Now, this is the last time I had a really, really big cry. And in that moment, I'm like, clearly this must have been needed.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. Some interesting facts. When we cry, one of the reasons why to cry is so healing, our body releases toxin within our tears. Okay. And I kind of look at it as, when you used to see grandma put the tea kettle on the stove, and the stove would that tea kettle would heat up, and once you hear that whistle start blowing, you knew, oh wow, that it was hot. When we cry, our body needs to release that pressure.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that a lot of people kind of take for granted. And I'm gonna speak for all the men in this room. For as long as I've been on this earth, being a black man and crying has just been so taboo. It's retarded.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah,
it is. And here's the deal, right? it's frustrating, disappointing, and disheartening to share that with people, and they assume that that's a personal choice that we make.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all just trying to be tough. What the fuck are you talking about? This thing have been ingrained into the fabric of who we are from the time we've been little boys to the time we men. It's like, don't cry.
Don't cry, motherfucker. Right.
And let me
take this. Matter of fact, don't cry while you even getting your ass.
Check this out. Here's something even more interesting.
As a kid,
we hear that in our home.
Yeah.
Then we start hearing our peers repeat this shit. We start hearing some of the women that are around us repeat this shit. So this is all we know. But here's how it shows its ugly head. I personally believe a lot of our family history and structure would be in a better place if there was a lot more safe spaces for men to show their emotions, especially black men. Because here's the deal. When we don't deal with something for so long, what that does is over a period of time, our hearts become calloused. All right. We become hardened individuals. And here's the deal, right? When you don't practice something for a long period of time, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you don't even know how to fucking do it. You lost. And the thing about humans, we like to look at other humans and say, well, you 20, you should know better. You 30, you should know better. You 40. Like, we have this thing where we always like to think that with age just automatically comes all this wisdom.
Age and time.
Yeah. And so my thing is, if you haven't practiced, fuck even releasing them. Most of us don't even know how to conceptualize our emotions, and we don't know how to speak them. We don't even know how to be verbal when it comes to let me express myself in this way, in a way that's like, wait a minute, I'm not saying that I'm mad at you. I might be hurt from this situation.
Yeah.
But a lot of times in my lifetime, when I've expressed how hurt I was about certain shit, man, it was weaponized against me.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but that's been my experience. And again,
to be honest, well, for me, it's been a little different as far as like, you know, me and my wife been together for 29 years. So
you had somebody to do that.
I've had like, you know, somebody to share, you know, a lot with, you know what I mean? A lot of say celebrations, a lot of.
You think that's staying true though for a lot of other men? A lot of other men?
No.
Your friends?
I know I'm the exception, not the rule. You know what I mean? I know I'm the exception, not the rule. You know, to be honest with you. I mean, because even growing up with my grandfather, right? Here go one for you. Like for the longest and shit, my grandfather was known not to give hugs, right? I didn't never know that because I was probably the first one of his grandsons or like little boy or whatever to give him a hug. So my whole relationship with my grandfather was always, I gave my grandfather a hug. And everybody used to be like, he don't hug. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like real shit. Like I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? Until after, you know what I'm saying? I found out. I'm like, damn, you know, granddad.
Black men showing black men affection. That's a whole nother topic within itself.
Absolutely.
That kind of it goes along with this whole thing about when the last time we cried.
I'm glad and shit that we didn't really get that memo, to be honest with you. A lot of us in our family.
No.
Because we
No, I meant.
We some huggers. Like, you know what I mean? It just is. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of glad, like I said, I'm the exception to the rule on a lot of those things. But yeah, it's a stigma when it comes to a lot of things in our community as far as men. You know what I mean? Let's hear from Sister real quick. What about you, sis? When the last time that you cried?
Well, I'm not a big crier. Yeah. I think I know a lot of men are told that growing up, but in my family, the women were told that too.
Yeah.
Like, cry for what? Suck it up, do what you need to do, and keep it moving.
Do you think that affected you in any type of way?
It has absolutely affected me negatively. One of the things that I've recently, probably just within like the past 2 years, kind of learned about myself is that it's been difficult for me to find and settle into the type of relationship that I really desire, because I hold so much in. And in order to control all of that, I have to close off pieces of me. And closing off pieces of you closes off those vulnerable and feminine sides of you that would attract the type of person that you desire to be with, right? So I think in that way, it definitely had a negative effect on me and the way that I relationship and the way that I operate, and even like my anxiety, right?
Yeah.
So, but recently, I've come into this space where I actually have the freedom and the capacity to just relax and open up and process my emotions and feel my emotions. And so I've been doing a lot of processing in real time as things are happening, but also processing things that happened in my past that I never properly grieved or never properly processed. So my last good cry was probably just a couple of weeks ago.
Outside of the processing, what are you actively doing to release it, right? And the reason why I asked that is because I was talking to somebody recently, and I'm like, man, a lot of times we, in our community, I've seen a lot of our people, it's very easy to express grief and anger, right? And I'll use this, something that I observed. I went to a monologue like slam one time, bunch of actors out there. And pretty much you could come up and just, do a 2-minute monologue. When I left out of there, I just sat in the car for a while and I was hurt. And this was just off some monologues, but the reason why is because, let's say we had 8 men, 7 women. Every fucking monologue was centered around
trauma or something.
Yes. Fuck you, bitch. You, how could you do that to me? Oh, I hate you. You broke my heart. Every fucking monologue.
Wow.
So I'm thinking about this and I'm like, wait a minute. This show up in our writing. This show up in this show up in our music. Definitely, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna hate you. I'm gonna fuck your bitch. I'm putting my pussy on your nigga face. Like this show up in a lot of our art. In our movies, all of that. You get what I'm saying? And I'm just like, wow. I'm like, man. I stood up before I left and I said, listen. I said, I enjoyed everyone's monologue, but if I could offer any advice, please start to view things outside of the box and things that you wouldn't normally view. Look at some rom-coms. Look at some stories from another country. Look at the Bali and the Nollywood films. Look at some of the stuff they doing in Africa. Look at some of these British and West African films. Start exploring and opening yourselves to other things, because we cannot live our life simply from this foundation of this experience of trauma to the point that that's all we know, all we pay attention to. You get what I'm saying? Because I feel like what I've noticed is people who don't actively, I'm sorry, and to get back to my point, how do you release it? What I found is one of the best ways that I've learned to release it is to first acknowledge it and then just express it. Say something about it.
Right.
It's one thing to think in my mind, hey, Don, that hurt me. It's another thing for me to pick up the phone and say, hey, brother, can I talk to you? What you said was, hurtful. Or, hey, can I talk to you? The way you were speaking to me was in a way that, kind of, I feel like is not representing the relationship that I, expect us to have. Say something. And say something in a way that because we have a tendency oftentimes to just come with just filled with so much anger. That's another thing. Outside of us releasing that, we have to learn that, okay, how do I work through some conflict resolution with somebody? Like that's a skill set that many of us lack. But I think when we are talking about this thing about us crying and releasing and letting some of this go, yes, it starts with that, but then we need to educate ourselves on proper conflict resolution, because many of us lose good people that we love and care about because we approach situations in a way that's just, we didn't think them through, or we don't know any better. And we think, yo, this is the only way that I can say something to this person. We come into it with a lot of preconceived notions, a lot of judgments, and that shit is tough. It's tough talking to somebody that you love that you don't even realize, like, yo, I'm not actually calm, or I'm not actually open to hearing this person's. Because here's the thing: sometimes we say something to somebody, and even though they may have a fucked up reason why they did whatever the fuck they did, we still got to give them some grace and space for that. It may not even be what we want to hear.
Yeah, but I will say this: some motherfuckers don't. Hey, look, after you can gave their ass some grace, you gotta sometimes tell them to get the fuck out your face.
So I think
for real, but go ahead, sis. Because I do want to get back to when the last time y'all ever cried or felt very emotional or cried for something like a celebratory situation or whatever.
So I'll speak to that too after I answer those questions. So I've been very intentional in this space of growth with getting off of work and coming home, because a lot of what I'm learning about my traumas as well is how it shows up at work in me. And so I've been really intentional about coming home and designating at least an hour to just like journal and decompress and kind of look at it from that conflict resolution standpoint, right? Like,
are you not being a bitch at work, are you? Or
no.
Okay.
No. In fact, what I'm being told is that I'm not being bitchy enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it comes from this place of wanting to be everything to everybody, right? So like, I have to do my job as a manager and hold people accountable. On the other hand, I'm very...
You want to show empathy and compassion and
understanding. To, all of the things that they have going on. You know what I mean? Exactly. Trying to find that balance. And so I come home, I decompress, I journal. Again, I take at least an hour to do it. But then I never kind of just leave it as like, dang, this is how I'm feeling. This is where my anxieties are. It's kind of like when I'm journaling, I'm looking for, from the last moment I experienced this, have I grown any? Did I handle it better? Did I handle it differently?
Or do you feel better in the current moment?
Exactly. What am I feeling in this current moment?
You need to roll up or pour up.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Sometimes you go home, you might need to roll up a little or pour up a little.
Right. Yeah. You might need a little assistance with the decompression. So definitely just kind of holding myself accountable and making sure that I'm growing. Pause.
All right, hey, look.
Y'all get on my nerves. Okay, on the
Call in, man, guys.
Call in. Hey, look. The number is 810-560-0658. Once again, 810-560-0658. Call in, y'all.
I haven't cried from celebrating though in a minute. Like, I need to cry some happy tears. I haven't done that. You've done that?
Yeah, I have.
I cried happy tears.
I explained.
I need some of them. I haven't experienced that.
When a good doctor and she got her doctorate, you know what I'm saying, in nursing. I've been with her from pretty much the inception of her whole journey of being, say, a nurse to, you know, going back to school for, you know,
so you watched her evolution,
getting her associates, getting her bachelor's, then getting her doctorate, and that whole program throughout our whole relationship. So when she actually, you know, walked across that stage, I'm like, that's the fuck up.
Proud,
like, you know, hell yeah, I was proud.
Like, a proud hubby.
You goddamn right. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I knew what she had endured. You know what I mean? And I knew it wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I
knew it wasn't.
And I knew that shit. You know, I knew it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I knew, you know, all the sacrifice that she, you know, that she's done throughout the years. You know what I'm saying?
I want to experience that, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I have yet in my lifetime experience happy tears. I haven't done it. You know what I'm saying? Not that it's not that I'm not open to it, but
it's like watching. You know how most, you know, movies are, right? You have the hero's journey. Yeah. To actually see somebody go through part of their hero's journey throughout their life from the inception. Mm-hmm. That's what made me emotional. And maybe my
girls might take me there, but because, you know, I've had a lot of moments where I'm proud for them, but I don't know. I haven't experienced that yet. I'm curious as to what that feels like. Yeah, honestly. What about you?
I remember that it was October because it was when my son turned 21. And that was when the kids came to visit, and he brought his fiance. Okay. And it was something about him turning 21, getting engaged,
family, man,
and then them being like just kind of.
Well, you can reflect.
It was proud. It was definitely a proud mama. Moment. And it was kind of like, it started off as sad tears because I was like, dang, like my baby, like that's my baby, that's my youngest, and now he's not been a baby for a long time, but when you're married, like you're truly a man.
You're a man. You're a man.
You are truly a man and the man of the house. And so definitely happy tears for.
Now look, before we get out of here, you know I gotta hear when the last time you cried, either happy, you know, something happy, something sad, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Okay, go ahead, speak on. Come on, speak on it.
That's easy.
You said that's easy.
It is June 2nd.
June 2nd.
When podcast had turned 5.
Yeah.
It was that morning I woke up.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, they coming down my face.
He said it's coming down my face. Yeah.
And I was like, cried like, damn, this is something I thought out of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it together, and that was it. And if I cry all the time, I'm a big crybaby.
Yeah.
They call me a big crybaby.
I mean, like I said, when something,
don't let me watch a movie.
Yeah. Oh,
you
man.
be looking at me like, what the fuck you crying for?
Hey, then you gonna be sounding like a shit motherfucking camera. Oh, man.
Oh, no, man.
Oh, man.
It's just that, like, I definitely cried on the movie recently. Oh, boy, just released.
What's that? Straw? Yeah, I had a little moment when I watched that. It was a typical. But you know what? No, you know what it is? It was because of my dog too, and then it was just.
What moment in Straw made you cry?
Look, it didn't come down, but I was like, "You motherfucker!" I had a little. I was like, "You son of a bitch."
I'm glad that said the main part where tears started flowing is when she realized all this time she was going through it.
She was grieving.
Yeah, she was grieving.
Yeah,
because everybody don't grieve the same.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And so I got a buddy of mine. His mother died. He still haven't cried.
Mm-hmm.
Bro. Let me add to that.
Yeah.
When my mother passed, even when my father passed, grandparents, and at some point I used to think like, you know, is something wrong with me, you know, because I didn't have that moment, and which is why I said the day that I got the news about Missy, I felt like it was something that I had suppressed for a very, very long time. I sat in the car for 2 hours, just sat there. I didn't even get out the car. I ain't had no music on, I ain't do nothing. I just sat in the driveway. And again, I thought about that. I'm like, wait a minute.
Right.
This is my friend. This was my... But I think for me, I was young when my mother passed. It was my last year of high school. She had brain cancer. And I felt like I hadn't lived long enough to kind of really understand and process what I was really going through at that moment and how much she meant to me.
Yeah.
When my biological father passed, I was blessed to spend the last 6 months with him. But while he was on this earth, we didn't spend a lot of time with each other. Yeah. And so I really felt like, yes, I can honor this man, but I didn't really have a strong connection to him.
I know the feeling.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I wish I knew more about Big Donald than I know. I just
same thing.
I don't.
Same thing with Hop.
You know what I'm saying? Like I really don't know a lot about my father. He was a Leo.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? August 16th was his birthday, and you know I've heard stories. I know he liked to watch wrestling and drink beer, and I know he smoked a lot of weed. But
hey,
my father is...
Hey, look, Uncle Donald feet used to stink too.
Yeah, okay, maybe that shit too. But
he used to come over our house. Oh man, yeah.
But knowing this is why this is important, right? Yeah. I firmly believe that, you know, our parents' DNA is intertwined within ours. Like we have.
No, it is.
You get what I'm saying? And,
no, it is.
And so
it ain't.
I just say that to say that throughout my life, I've just been curious as to what. Now, it was interesting. One day I went, before Grandma passed, I was sneaking around in the cabinets one day, and I opened up this cabinet, and it was filled with nothing but trophies for my father. He ran track, I ran track, and he played football. I played football. And that kind of freaked me out. I'm like, wow, wait a minute.
And you never know.
And we, you know, this ain't something we really chopped it up about. But I say that to say that before he passed, I wish that maybe he would have shared some things about himself. I think it's important for us to know the hopes and dreams and aspirations of the people that we care about.
Now what?
You know what I'm saying?
Now look, cuz you said something that I do get emotional and I cry about when I think about my old dude. Is, you know, he did music. I do music, right? And the one thing that I do have that a lot of people don't have is we shared, say, the studio where I had him play on a song on one of our albums. So when I hear that shit, I get emotional as hell, like, wow. And it was a song that I actually thought of, you know, as the nation and all that to put out. And then I just it was one of my songs that I actually produced. And then I had, say, you know, I just set up everything. I was like, no, I gotta have the old dude play the piano on it. So every time I hear it,
everybody knew Uncle just play off an ear.
That's how
he didn't know how to play the piano. He literally would sit down and just figure it out, and I mean, it was cold. Would just do it.
It seemed like a lot of us have similar stories. Just like you said about your father. I went to a family reunion. I took my girl with me. My girl was like, "They talking about you?" I'm like, "Nope." He said, "They keep saying Miles and funny and do this and talking trash." And like, they talking about my daddy. She's like, "How did you ain't know your daddy?" Nope, I don't. But
they do,
man.
They do. They were. He was like the king Messiah for them. You feel me? And I used to be like, my auntie told me the whole truth during the whole family reunion. And when I was walking around the table this big in the park, it was like all his pictures and all that stuff. They were like, "Is that baby? Is that?" They whispering, "Is that my son? Is that my?" You know what I mean? I'm saying, like, what was all the whispering going? She said, "Baby, you are Miles Dixon's son. And you the youngest." Like, for real, they like looking at you like, "What's up with you?" You know, like, I got emotional then.
Again, like I say, I think it's important to know the fabric of the being that was a vessel for us to get here on this earth. That's interesting to me. You know what I'm saying? My biological mother, you know, somebody told me, you know, when I learned that she wrote a play in high school, I was like, wow. You know, she And then my mom, you know, she's very creative, okay? And so again, there's just things about them. I always say we got 3 strands of DNA. We got God, and then we got our parents.
Well, God is our oldest ancestor. So
there you go. And I agree to that. Amen to that. But I just say that to say that I think that these things, these conversations, you know, yes, maybe sometimes they may stir up a certain type of emotion, but that type of thing is needed because some of us, some of our past hurts, some of our joys, some of our wants, some of our desires, they're connected to our ancestors in a way sometimes that I feel like we've been hurt so much. It's painful for us to acknowledge them, and we need to, and it's okay.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, it's okay to acknowledge, like, okay, wait a minute, this has bothered me, or this is some. But before we get out of here, this 2025, and it's a 9-year, and not to get off subject, but this year was all about releasing, removing, cleaning, restoring. And to anybody out there that's just listening, think about what you need to release this year. I found myself meditating on that recently because I was just like, man, you know, it was something that was bothering me that I wanted to fix, and it's out of my control right now. But then it's like, hey, Don, you got to remember, this year is all about releasing, removing, restoring. All right. And oftentimes there is no restoring without the releasing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it's those past hurts, those past failures, those any regrets that we may have, we got to let some stuff go.
Yeah.
And if we don't, there we go. If we don't let it go, when we hold on to these things, we don't have the capacity to replenish ourselves with things that's going to bring us some joy, some happiness. You know what I'm saying? And just be something to be elated about. And so we definitely have to let go. But that's what this year is all about. This is a 9-year, and this year is all about releasing.
All right. Anything else you want to add before we leave out our gym?
Yeah. So one of the things that someone said to me that helped me, and so I want to share it with other people as it pertains to like our parents, because we've had some conversations, right, about like our parents, and I hear a lot people say like, you know, I try to talk to my parent about how their actions affected me and how I am right now and what I need from them. And the person said to me, it might not be a matter of them not wanting to accept accountability for how their actions hurt you or affected you, but in that period of their life, the chances are they were hurt and being affected by something that they don't want to relive. They don't want to dredge up those things. They don't want to talk about those things. So it's not necessarily a matter of them not wanting to be held accountable for what they've done or their actions. But the same way it's hurting you to talk about it, it hurts them as well. But they don't have the resources that we have. It's a lot harder for them at their age now than it is for us with all of the resources that we have. So
especially how they've been taught. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I just, like, my closing remark is that, like, understand that we have to release those things. We have to release those grudges. We have to release those, you know, I'm still holding on to it because I never got the apology, or I'm still holding on to it because they didn't accept accountability and validate my feelings. Well, who can validate their feelings?
Yeah. All right. All right, y'all. So look, on the way on out the door, I'm just going to say this real quick. Say emotional release. Okay, it says crying helps to release pent-up emotions, which can be a healthy way to cope with stress, sadness, and other difficult feelings. But also once again, on celebrating and stuff like that, it's good to release, those tears if you need to, you know what I mean? And if you find yourself being emotional about anything, you know what I mean, just go with it. You know, don't hold back, you know what I mean, to be honest with you, because you're only going to be like probably kick your own self in the ass, you know what I'm saying? And you don't want to do that. So
I got one question for you. Man, have you cried during sex?
No, I haven't did nothing like that yet.
Have you What the hell you put you? Okay.
Talking about,
Yeah, she like, oh.
What was it stinking?
Yeah. So
like,
you cried. But you've never cried during sex, cuz?
No.
Gotcha. Okay. What about you, Miles?
No, but I made a couple, quite a few.
You say I done made somebody cry. That's just because you were stinking. No.
Okay.
No, I'm just messing with you.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad cry. It was an emotional.
Yeah, it was
cry.
like
the
release.
connection is so intense. Yeah.
Okay. We see where you going. Hey, look, we might have to continue this one next week.
I'm just curious. I just think that we were talking about that and something clicked in my mind and was just like, wait a minute, like crying during sex can be very powerful
and dangerous.
Or I'm about to say it sounds like it'd be dangerous.
Let's stay focused on the positive.
No, motherfucker.
Let's stay focused on the positive aspects of this shit.
Hey, look.
But you know what I'm saying? That connection, like you said, that level of intimacy, the energy that's created from that release, you know, that can be pretty interesting. But anyway.
All right.
Agreed.
That should be your next topic. The ultimate orgasms.
Man, here you go. Y'all a bunch of perverts, man. On that note, we see the gym that got perverted and shit, you know what I'm saying, on the way on out the door. So look, y'all tune in next weekend at 9 p.m. Y'all never know what the hell we might be talking about. We might run it on back. You know what I'm saying? So thanks for tuning in, y'all. Hey, look, thanks for tuning in, y'all. Appreciate all the love and support. You know what I'm saying? And get you a good fucking cry on. You know what I'm saying? And stop bullshitting. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to be vulnerable. All right?
Hey, shout out to my homegirl too, Tierra Walton. She speaks all the time about how when she cries, it help keep her skin looking good and moist.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah,
all right,
cry.
All right.
Yeah, and for the guys out there, cry to help wash some of the boogers out your eye, because a lot of dudes be acting like they too tough to pull that little shit in the corner of their eye. So cry, let that shit out.
Okay. All right. On that note, y'all, see y'all next week. Peace, y'all. Flex it out.
Rap lyrics that you use.
No, listen, I knew who I
big
was.
Big things popping, little things stopping.
You caught it.
Yeah, come on now.
You got it. Let me say this to you, and I've never said this to a man in 52 years.
Mm-hmm.
You got pretty legs, man.
Oh, man.
And they lanolated.
Man, listen, I'm back working out.
You put shea butter, Jergens.
Oh, you see that?
They glowing in the dark.
I'm just
y'all
nourished.
zoom in. Do not skip leg day.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Sometimes you got to remind.
Big flex on the set, you know we gotta rep. Heavy talk on that mic, all we do is press. John Q, that's coach, got him upset. Gym Animal, Muscle Gang, we up next. Big Flex Podcast live on Monday night with John Q, Latoya, Deshaun, and Don Snipes. You can catch Snipes on the pod or the big screen or get tea time with Toya if you want the tea. Talk about the strong end on your weekday. Tap in with Muscle Gang, you never have a weekday. Big Flex Podcast, 9 p.m. Monday. Pull us up on YouTube if you want that replay. Big Flex Podcast, 9 p.m. Monday. Pull us up on YouTube if you want that replay. It's the Big Flex Podcast, Mondays, 9 at night. It's the Big Flex Podcast. Come on.